All right, we've set the table. Now I'm joined by our political strategist and good friend, Dave Wilson. You joined us a couple days ago. You made a prediction of 62-38.
Do you still have that piece of paper?
I have it in my drawer. I looked it up.
There you go.
62-38. And before everything comes in, you might be right. You might be right.
When everything boils down, and it was very interesting to watch Nikki Haley try to make 38% a positive number. There's a meme that came out on Babylon Bee the other day. Nikki Haley touts her negative 12% win in New Hampshire. And you're sitting here going, the math isn't adding up here. So the question becomes one of, does she end up still getting the funding that she needs? Because right now, Nikki Haley remaining in the race, Brian, is going to be very much dependent upon whether or not those funders who really aren't behind Donald Trump and are saying, listen, we've got to keep an alternative in the race, are they still willing to put money in that? Because as she said a moment ago, there are still 21 states between today and Super Tuesday that still have to vote. That's a lot of places and a lot of time, but also a lot of money that has to be sent, and especially in larger media markets like Texas and California. Keep in mind, we vote here in South Carolina, as you know, folks at home, that because we're a smaller state, it's easier to get around this state. You can be from one end of the state to the other in a bus ride.
As she did for the last 2 weeks.
As she did, and we see what kind of result that it got for her. And I think when you look at that, what's the future for her? There's this question of whether or not Donald Trump's legal issues could be playing a factor, and she's kind of standing there like the backup quarterback on the sideline, standing next to the coach going, hey, let me in, let me in, let me in. Or is this just a long, slow move towards her taking a long retirement? The real question comes down to what's going to happen in November. Keep in mind, folks, November 5th is 255 days away. That is a long time, especially in the political world. And so much can happen, Brian, that I think we have to start asking ourselves this question: are we ready for the general election to begin in 10 days after Super Tuesday? I think Nikki Haley stays in as long as she possibly can, and as long as those funders are looking for a place that they can put their money and at least counter what we're seeing with Donald Trump.
History certainly isn't in her favor. Not winning a single state in these early voting states, so that's not on her side at all.
No, and she really tried. Her argument was, by the end of last week, I'm not going to be winning South Carolina. The question is, am I going to close the gap? So in Iowa, she came in third place. In New Hampshire, she came in second place with 43% of the vote. If she's not capping off somewhere up above 40%, it's going to be really hard for her to be moving forward. But we did have one major thing happen. If Donald Trump does go on to win the nomination, we have made it abundantly clear that South Carolina maintains that position of we pick presidents, because this will make 11 out of the last 12 presidential nominations in both parties, where South Carolina has corrected whatever has happened in other states and chosen the presidential nominee for both parties.
Is it too early to start talking about VP? You heard some of the straw poll numbers.
I don't think it is too early, Brian, because Donald Trump has got to be thinking right now a couple of strategies. And if you had a chance to watch the special that we did Thursday night, it was a great discussion that we had here with Joel Lurie, former senator from here in Richland County. And Joel has this great little thing of, well, maybe it'll all break down when we get to
it'll be utter chaos
at the Democratic National Convention. The question is one of, okay, if you're in the Trump camp right now, who is going to be that person that can go head to head with Kamala Harris and play hardball? Because if you go back and you watch what happened in 2020, she really, and I hate to say this, he's a great guy, but she politically decimated Mike Pence on the debate stage. So she's going to have somebody that she's got a little bit of political fear going head to head with. So if you're Trump, you're looking for who is that person who can be a little subservient to him, because he is a gigantic personality.
But go to war with the other guys.
But go to war with the other guys. And I think that's probably what you're looking at. So the list of folks that are there, the CPAC convention, I think majority of the folks who were on that list had spoken at CPAC in Washington. That's a conservative political action committee. There are a mix of folks that are at that convention. There's younger folks and older folks. So you're trying to get a pulse of what's going on among conservative voters. But Donald Trump, in the end, Brian, is going to sit there and go, who's the person that I want sitting across the table from me that I can give clear direction to as CEO of the country and get some stuff done.
All right. Good stuff as always, Dave. Thank you for your
Absolutely.
contributions. As
Thanks.
always, great analysis. And we, again, no surprises today. And Nikki Haley remains that fly in the ointment.
Should we start down some new numbers now? There we go.
We'll have him back and we'll look at those numbers again. But right now, we're going to kick it over to Claire Foley.